In May 2011, some 18 years after the attack, it was announced that Gary Dobson and David Norris would stand trial for Stephen's murder after new evidence had been discovered.
It was really kind of hard to accept, really, because I had seen my mum go through certain scenarios before where she was told that a certain outcome would happen, and it came to that at the end of the scenario and the outcome wouldn't be what it was. And so it was a case of, you get to that sort of stage where you're saying, well, I'm not going to commit myself to any sort of feelings or thoughts past each day as it comes, really. And I suppose I was very sceptical that was ever going to be a conviction. I thought that there would be some sort of reason why they would either throw it out or they would be found not guilty, really.
The most striking piece of new evidence was a speck of blood on a jacket that belonged to Gary Dobson. And this speck of blood, the prosecution argued, was incontrovertibly Stephen Lawrence's blood.
This tiny droplet of blood had dried into the weave of the jacket, which meant that when the blood landed on the jacket, it must have been wet. And if it was wet, it meant that it landed at the time that the murder took place. And if the jacket was in the vicinity of when the murder took place, then the person wearing it must have been involved in the murder. In terms of David Norris, there was also DNA evidence, but it was what's called mitochondrial DNA. It related to hair that was found, Stephen's hair, that was found on David Norris's clothes.
The forensic evidence against both Norris and Dobson was enough to convince the jury of their guilt. The Lawrence family were in court to witness the defendants' reactions.
When the judge starts passing his sentence, I just looked at him and said, I got you. And then I think it was Dobson's father, he shouted something out, shame on you or something like that, he shouted out. But those people, they lied for their son. I've always said to my children, it's one thing I never do is lie for you. I'll be there to support you, I'll never lie for you. But they lied all the way through.
Gary Dobson was sentenced to a minimum of 15 years and 2 months for the murder of Stephen Lawrence. David Norris received a minimum of 14 years and 3 months. There was controversy at the Old Bailey, as the pair was sentenced under guidelines in place at the time of the attack, and as juveniles, because both had been under 18 in 1993.